Hey, folks, thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of YOMO. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. And today we have Reflection 347 and a brand new book. Surprise. All right. So, what you got?
Excited. Yeah, the book today is a book called An Immense World: How Animal Senses Reveal the World Around Us by the author Ed Yong. And this is a really cool book. If you want to know, here I'll say this. This is my best summary of this book. If you were into like making comic books or like superheroes, if you wanted to
Mm-hmm.
make a superhero, you should read this book because it'll tell you all the amazing things that all the other animals do and how they perceive the world and sense the world and all their unique little skills and traits and evolutionarily advanced selves that they do, like how they navigate through the world, right? You know, how they use their
Mm-hmm.
senses to navigate through the world. So, like, if you were going to make a superhero, just read this book and, like, listen to reptiles and how their skin is airtight and whatever, or listen about how bats and sonars and elephants use infrasound to talk to each other hundreds of miles away, and whales and what they do. I mean, the stuff
Superpower. Yes,
it's
yes, sir.
literally, these are all this book is like going through all the animals of the world and their superpower, and not just animals, insects, reptiles, mammals, everything around us, and
Mm.
spiders, like all their superpowers that they've
Right.
evolutionarily evolved to be able to do. And they really
Crafted.
are superpowers, right? It's
Right.
insane. Some of the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that how they sense the world, and this is a part of the reflection, is this making sense of the world around you. So how, first off, I started this reflection off by talking about, I needed this book at the time that I read this book. Like I was so deep into, it had been like a year since I had read an awesome book that connected me to the broader world around me. I was so entrenched in humanity, books about psychology and philosophy and business, basically our world,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was so locked into our world that sometimes you can get sucked down that vortex. And I love, like, there's nothing more fascinating to me personally than humanity. Connecting it to the broader world and understanding how everything is so fascinating around us, is like one of those things where your right brain needs to connect to the universe a little bit versus
Mm-hmm.
like going down a rabbit hole in the left brain kind of thing, right?
Right.
And this was an amazing book to like pause, connect to the universe, and go, holy shit, like this, there's some fucking cool things out there in this world, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
stuff that they've evolved to do is just mind blowing, right? So I mean, I just actually recently read a book about 2 months ago called Life on Earth by David Burrow. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you've ever heard of that guy before, but I
Yeah,
guess
that guy's
he's
famous.
right. So this book was kind of like that.
Uh,
He's really focused even deeper on senses of how they sense the world and how they perceive it. So one of the coolest things about this book, the reflection title is making sense of the world around you, is this concept that this guy talked about. It's called umwelt. I think I've told you about this before, right?
yes, I'm felt.
Yeah.
Yes.
So umwelt is a German word that was coined to describe the world as it is uniquely experienced by a particular organism, meaning like humanity's umwelt, the way that we see things, the way that we touch things, the way that we communicate with each other via words and talking and understanding and language, and how we navigate our way through the world. Like that's our unique
Mm-hmm.
unwelten, right, of how humanity sees the world. And bats, they use like sonar, and elephants use infrasound. Whales do what whales do, and like we all uniquely sense the world in a way, and our senses that interact with the world around us are uniquely positioned, like our chemistry in our brains and how we, what we feel and what's painful to us or what's not painful to us, right? Like you'll never know, no matter how much you study alligators, you'll never know what it feels like to be an alligator and experience the world as an alligator experiences the world, right? That's what Velt means. That's the unique way that an organism, experiences the world around them. Well, this book made me think about umwelt and how it relates to humanity. And one of the things that is awesome about humanity is I think most animals and most organisms in this world do have one umwelt. The way that beavers must. I
Right.
think humans are unique in the fact that I don't think we have one umwelten. I think we have an infinite number of umwelten. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're so unique as creatures, is because we can kind of have agency a little bit over what our umwelt, our purpose. It almost is like a word that I think is synonymous with purpose. How you uniquely, purposely interact with the world around you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things that I think that is the best part about being humans, is how do we make sense of the world around us? We have agency to be able to kind of do that, right? And I think that's super amazing. But here's the trick to humanity and our development and how we navigate the world. You can't understand the world until you understand yourself. You can't navigate through this world and create your unique beaver must dam until you know how you feel and what matters to you and how you want to interact with the world around you. What gives you energy, what doesn't give you energy, how certain touch that you like or certain things that you see or whatever your brain chemistry is that's leading you down certain red threads. Like that's your Velton to me as humanity in a way to kind of take it and turn it into a human thing, right? Everyone has different red threads out there, but you can't understand that until you understand your red threads. And then once you do that, you can use that to help navigate your way through the world and understand, I want to do this and I don't want to do this, or I want to interact with these people and not these people, or I want to live in this place but not this place. We can take from that to make sense of the world around if we know ourselves. So that was the reflection for this one, making sense of the world around you. It's like so hard to do, but it's not that hard to do. It's just you have to be really in touch with yourself and get your own custom made belt, Yeah, anyway, love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think it's a great word, and I think the Germans have more accurately described word for a lot of stuff. Kudos to them. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if this is true, but my assumption is that for a lot of animals, like a beaver or whatever, it's like a book, right? It does, A, B, C, and D, and whatever. For human, I'm thinking it's an analogy to a book that has options in the pages where, hey,
Build
when
your
you
own
get
journey.
through this, and then you build your own journey, and then that journey becomes your particular unique unveiling.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and we human being is the only one. It's still a book, right? Meaning
Right.
you still have to follow your natural tendency. It's whatever you have to do, you have to do. The story is still there, but we have the add-on ability to choose like a path. Like you go to certain pages and say, hey, there's a road to the left, there's a road to the right. Which
Right.
one you pick? And you found some place and you saw a blonde woman and a brunette woman. Which one did you choose? So these things are like, yes, it's a book still, because you still have to follow who you are as that person, as that
Right.
character. But this character has an added on ability to choose and make decisions that
Right.
make him uniquely his own experience. Because like I say, you choose the blonde woman, right? Or the choose, your life is completely different and your experience is completely different. And
Yeah.
this is why I think human being has that particular advantage over the animals like the beavers and the monkeys, and because these guys, they don't
I have
have the
one
ability
story.
to
Right.
choose. They
Yeah.
say, hey, one
Yeah.
story, it doesn't change, right? I do this and that. It's a story you have to follow from beginning to end. And that is the gene that we're talking about, the beaver Mustang.
Yep.
We too, human beings, have
Oh yeah.
the need to adhere. But on top of the adherence of our natural instinct, we also have the cognitive brain that allows us to say, hey, in these range of things, we have the freedom to choose. And
Right.
I think having that gives us the combination, like you say, is you.
It's
So we are uniquely, as a species, we are unique as a, just as a beaver would have, as a monkey would have, as a fish
right.
would have. But on top of that, among the human beings, we're also unique
Yes.
because a beaver is beaver, but a
I think
human
we think
is
we
not a
think.
human.
I mean, we think that's the case. I would be shocked if there's, well, like monkeys and other primates, they have hierarchies, like they have social order, so like there is some
But that's
level
built
of
in.
complexity there. Yeah. Who rises to the top? All right, fair enough. I don't want to. We're not going to get into that debate. But I think you're spot on. I love your analogy of choose your own adventure book. It's
Uh-huh.
like that is our though is to choose our own adventure, right? I think that is our umwelt as humans. Is like what are you going to choose? Like you can't just not do anything. You can't just not. That is our beaver most damn. Is choose your own adventure. Like even if your adventure that you chose isn't very fun, like and like let's say you end up as
But
a
you still
drug addict
chose
living on
it,
the
right?
homeless, you chose that. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you didn't make the decision every single day to shoot up heroin into your arm and go try it the first time. Like I don't think that there's beavers out there that are junkies that are just laying on the side over there where everybody else is working, going like, oh guys,
No,
sorry, I found this
I don't
awesome
want. I
sap,
don't be. I don't be no dams.
yeah, and like everybody's looking over there going like, fucking Carl, like this fucking guy, and they're yelling at Carl's parents like, don't you raise that piece of shit beaver over there?
Call
Is
his parents and say, "Get your ass out of here."
right. What you doing? Get out of that sap. We talked about the sap, like, stay away from that sap tree. Like, but no, like it's I don't to your point, I think that they don't this is an important distinction for you and I because we always talk about a beaver must dam. Like, I think that is a simplistic way to view all this stuff, and I love that. I think both of us love that because we know what we mean when we say that, right? But I think our unique, each human beaver must dam is infinite,
It's the
right? Like,
next level. If you don't understand anything else, then you still at least know that, hey, in your life, there is a strong influence of who you are, and you have to obey that.
right.
You have
You
to
have to listen.
obey
You have to
that
figure
because
it
you say,
out.
hey, if you're a beaver, you can't try to be a wolf because your life will be miserable.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying is that beaver must dam, it is a strong influence on your life. So if you are who you are, try to say, this is my tool, this is my advantage. How can I use it versus, oh, I like the other one better, it's more shinier, whatever it is. Or I was told that was shinier. I was told it's better. And to
Right.
me, this is the mistake people make. It's like they don't obey who they are as the genes
Right.
that tells them, hey, I got to have these and you don't provide it, I'm gonna make your life miserable. And we
Right.
do that over and over again. But the unwritten piece of it is the next level. Say, okay, you're beaver, but you also have the second piece where once you follow the character, right? But your character has more than just, hey, I'm this person, right? Let's say you are a male, right? You are a male character. Then you are looking for a female companion, like the redhead, the blonde, or the brunette, right? But you still want to couple up with the opposite sex. That is your beaver must stand. You can't say, "Oh, I don't like female. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go hit a goat." So that is the beaver must stand part. But then once you chose, hey, there's a female, but there's a redhead, there's a blonde, and there's a brunette. This is where you go and you say, well, who am I? What kind of personality do I like? Who am I who do I need to couple with, whether that's a blonde, a brunette, the redhead, right? So that's where you have to understand yourself a little bit more. To understand yourself as a beaver is super important. But on top of that, you have to also understand your particular preferences to create this unwritten to be the maximum it can be. Because if you
Right.
don't, like, hey, you choose whatever because somebody says that, hey, you should be this or should be that, right? You're not obeying who you are as a unique person. And then
Yeah.
you won't have the kind of unwelcome experience that you would have had.
Right.
And that's the point of this reflection is that your unwelcome in some part is controlled by how much you know about yourself.
Right. You have to figure that out. Like, it's not like you'll naturally navigate the world the way, like, okay, I've talked to you a lot about my competitive nature, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
does that come from nurture? Does that come from nature? I don't know. I don't really care. Like, we can get into
It
whatever.
doesn't matter.
Like, the
What you
point of
feel
the
is what
matter,
you feel, right?
what you feel is what you feel, right? So like, I need to understand that that is something that brings me energy, or the other values that we've discovered that Amelia has helped me to discover on this
Mm-hmm.
journey, right? Don't do it alone. This is one of the things I've had to say this to myself so many times throughout this pickleball process of like, don't do it alone. Hey, reminder, Chris, you can't do all this stuff. You don't want to do it all alone, but you also can't do it all alone. It's not fun if there's no meaningful relationships that are helping you and experiencing this with you, right? So like, these are things that I have to know about my unique Velton to go like, hey, like this may be a human unvelton too, right? Because like we're social creatures, but at the same time, like this is a unique unvelton for me to remind myself, like I need to have fun in my life and playfulness and also competitiveness and balance and all the things that we talk about, right? These are the words that matter to me that I can connect with my own brain to go, I know what I'm saying when I mean this, and this is how I'm going to make my decision to be on my unique journey, right? Because I want to experience as much as I can in this life as a human being and enjoy the hell out of it, right? Like, I mean, why would you want to be here if you can't? Like, we've talked about this too many times before of like sometimes ignorance is bliss. Like, maybe beavers are just fucking on cloud nine every single goddamn day that they wake up and they're like, hi ho, like they're like fucking the little dwarves, like hi ho,
Right,
hi ho.
their own unique advantages and disadvantages because when let's say we talked about yesterday about the presence all you have, right? It's all you possess. Because then you talking about, hey, there's a million things for me to do and I'm doing all these things. But you think about the perspective is from one perspective is a negative thing. But from another perspective is, hey, I have a
This is
healthy
awesome.
body,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I
I can
have
do this
the
stuff.
money, right? I have the ability to do this and I'm actually doing it, right? From that perspective is you are blessed. You are so
Yeah.
much blessed. So like people say there's a rich people problem, right? When you poor, you have rich people problem. when you have unlimited, unbound options, there's also a
Problem.
negative.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, I would be hard pressed to tell the gist of what I'm about ready to say is it is harder to be a homeless person by immense amount of work that they need to do every single day just to stay warm and get food and you know and survive, right? Like I there's not amount of money in the world that you could pay me to go stand on the street in 10-degree weather and hold up a sign for 8 hours a day. I'd be like, oh my God, my back is fucking killing me. Like, I want to take a nap so bad. You know, I just want to go piss
Well,
somewhere and I don't know where I can go to the bathroom. You know, like I'm cold. I want to get out of like I'm saying it is hard as hell to be homeless, right? They
no,
work hard to be
I think
homeless.
I think this is where the unbound comes in, because for me, if you give an option, okay, you can have a house in North Korea where you're homeless in America. I would choose America all day, every day, million
Good
years,
point.
1,000 times over, right? Because the thing is, you are out of your element, depending on who you are, right? I'm a kind of person that, these things I can figure. I'm a creator, right? I'm a creator. I can figure out how to deal with the cold. I don't have to. I mean, I can guarantee you, you can take everything away from me, throw me into an English speaking country like United States with where they, to me, United States is uniquely given to you that you cannot fail. I mean, even you're homeless, you still have, like, people give you food, and you
Right.
go and ask for food, but give to you, right? I don't need to go and stand in front of the sign. I can go do something. I can make something. I can go to the library, it's free. I can go to the park and then whatever, it's free, right? The United States. If you throw me in the United States as a homeless, I can probably make it back to where am I right now without a problem. But
Right.
I would not want to have like $1 million in North Korea where somebody can just go in there and take away all my power
Right.
at any time, right? So yes, in some cases you are out of your element. If you are a beaver, right, and you're in the Sahara Desert or in some tundra, then yeah, you're outside element. But if you put a beaver in a water environment, it doesn't matter where you put them. I'm gonna find ways to put a dams, right? Whether it's leaves, whether it's twigs, whether it's rocks, whatever. I'm gonna find ways to do it. So the unbounded, it is who you are. So it is super important to use yourself as a compass to decide what is your choices you gotta make that is gonna
Right.
fit you for who you are and give you the best, the maximum experience in life. Because that's the point of company, is to encourage you to
Use
explore who you
your unbound.
are,
Right. Yeah.
that you have to be, kind of like skew, because people, say things to you
Right.
and you have unlimited unbound options. And the unbound option becomes confusing because, hey, is this that, blah
Yeah.
blah blah, right? Get too many options and you become paralyzed in choosing it. And I think this is where having a compass and understanding yourself is going to help with a lot of those uncertainty, because uncertainty is also what gives us as human being the stress. Because the beaver, he
They
doesn't
don't know
have
anything.
the
That's
the,
right. They don't
the
have a choice.
faculty.
Right.
They
Right.
don't have the faculty to think about it,
Right.
so it
Yeah.
cannot be stressed
Exactly.
out,
Right.
right? I'm not gonna. The beaver is not gonna think about tomorrow. I'm gonna have any trees or having the twigs or whatever to dam. Tomorrow he's not gonna think about food, or tomorrow he's not gonna think about some lion's gonna chop him up. And we have the same issue. Is we don't know if we're gonna die today, tomorrow, or the next day, but
Right.
we think we do, and we think we have control over the future, and we think about the future. Hey, I got a million things to do. I got to do all these things. Whatever you worry about, chances are it's not going to come like the way you think it is. It's going to be different. It could be, hey, it could be transform into something you like or something you may not like.
Right.
Regardless how it transforms, it is not going to be like how you thought it would be. And so these abilities, both a curse and a blessing, and everything
Yeah.
else is. I mean, it doesn't matter. But using yourself as a compass gives you some ease in handling and making sense of the world. And
Right.
it's a great reflection to say, making sense of the world. Is how do you do that? The kind of person you are, what's given to you as your gene, as DNA dictates, what do they need? Satisfy those needs, and you will have the unbelted.
Yeah. I mean, agreed. I mean, it's like your own custom unbelton. I mean, beavers don't get custom unbeltons. They get one unbelton. Like we do. Like we could have a custom unbelton, and like that's pretty freaking cool.
But it's also a disadvantage if you
It
don't
is,
know
yeah.
how to structure
Well,
that unbound, then
I think that's when people, I mean, this is why I keep saying the word purpose when I think of Unbelten, because I think this is a lot to do with humanity. I think everybody uniquely knows they have a unique Unbelten, right? But then they're like, how do I figure that out? And if they don't figure it out, you feel lost, like you feel like you're purposeless. You feel like you're not experiencing the world as it should be experienced by you uniquely, and when you feel that way, it hurts a lot. It's painful to not be you're to not experience your unvelten in the world, right? Like, and I'm not saying that it's like
mental
some
anguish is probably the worst pain you can ever have.
yeah,
It's
it's
a mental
horrible.
anguish. I mean, the thing
It
is,
hurts.
you
It's self
I
it's
mean,
self-sabotage,
you can have physical body pain, but you can just take one of those blockers and you don't feel nothing. But
Right.
mental anguish, there's no cure for it. But mental anguish is self-inflicted.
It is. I mean, and that's the blessing and the curse of this problem, right? Like, we were evolutionarily gifted mental anguish, right? Like, I don't know why we have it. Clearly, the reason is because it probably spurs us to go find our own unique Unvelten and go build new
Because they
things.
probably wouldn't have survived
Right, exactly.
without this ability to
Find the right
you
path.
know to worry about the future, right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about so many species that has more advantages than us. So many, even the Neanderthals is
Oh,
bigger, stronger, smarter,
bats
and
are clearly better than us. I mean, bats are 100. They're like a third of all the mammals in this world are bat species, right? Like, they're bats are winning, in terms of like the skills that they've acquired, flying,
I
sonar.
mean, they become predators, and we become one of the food sources. Then we become extinct. This is where we have to have it. And
Right.
like I say, anything you have is an advantage and disadvantage. I mean, I don't need to explain to you that anymore about give somebody a sword. Well, you can defend or that sword can kill you. So same thing with the gun. So everything is both a strength and a weakness. It's both a curse and a blessing. Right. So you have to figure out, okay, how do I make it more of a blessing than a curse?
It's never going to be perfect. I mean, it's always a journey, and
But
it's
that's a
always
choice because
right.
because that's what we are given. We have to give him that choice,
Right.
and we are given the frontal cortex, the front forebrain for that.
Right.
To
Well,
to analyze that.
do you ever get the impression that like bats or beavers or every other animal, a mammal, or even animal in this world is just like in a 24/7 state of flow state? Like they know what they're doing and they're enjoying doing what they're doing. And then there's us over there where we're like, dope to dope to dope, like what do I want to do today? Like, I mean, I could do anything, but like,
I
what
mean,
do I want to
you're talking about
do today?
red-nosed reindeer, right? You got a red nose. Oh, people laugh at you. You got Dumbo with the elephant ears, and then he strip over his ears, but he can fly.
Right. He's figured it out. I mean, like I feel like they're just, in a 24/7. Like, that's one of the things that makes animated movies so funny is we give them human characteristics, and we're like, it's so funny to see a dog with racked with emotion of what are they going to do today or tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, when you extrapolate donkey on Shrek, like when you give them a human voice and a human choice, and you're like, no, a donkey just is going to be a donkey. Like, like that's what a donkey's going to do. Like, there is a need to be that. But when you give them that agency, that's when it becomes really funny, because you're like, well, a donkey's just supposed to do this, but then now they're doing all this other stuff and they're trying to figure it out as well. It's fucking complicated is the point, but right, you got to figure it out. All right, I know you got to go. That was a fun midday Yomel. And question we can leave for everybody is, have you figured out your inner Umvelten yet? And if you haven't, you should probably figure that out.